good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cabby D Barra, and we are here to discuss night 2 of Wrestlemania. All right, but I don't know if I'll be calling it wrestling because I don't know. I don't know if this was wrestling. This was indeed sports entertainment. There was a lot of sports entertainment tonight, but we're going to be cutting that cake when we get to it. All right, we're going to be discussing the fallout from night 1. Night 1 was hated by everybody, universally. I think it had just this, just stench of unfinished that really kind of permeated all of the card, and it made it very difficult for anybody to fully consume or interact with the, with anything for night 1. Even the main event, it got stunk up by Jelly Roll. Just the most goofiest fucking buy one get one night 3 half off pay-per-view event you could ask for. I was relieved that everyone else felt the exact same level of just disappointment that I felt for night 1. But unfortunately it seems that a broken clock being right at least once a day is enough for the Fed boys to return in droves. You know what? I think that there were a lot of really good things about this pay-per-view. I think that there were actually a lot of strong things about night 2. I think in how we received it, I think that's the only way I have an issue with. I think these promos between some of these matches, like the blow off between some of these feuds, it's so unfortunate because when you look at everything per capita, I mean, everything's great. Everything's great, when you look from from corner to corner, neighborhood to neighborhood, right? You could say that the environment of this entire night 2, it's thriving. It has a budding economy, right? But the underlying factor is a fake, phony, plastic, recyclable fucking environment that is going to wash away in 20 years when the when the gentrifiers come to gentrify. That's what we're looking at, right? Everything that we get from tonight, it is what we should have gotten months ago. And when I say this, I mean in terms of the feuds, in terms of visuals, in terms of super stardom. There are superstar making moments tonight, right? And them not being executed so much earlier for whatever reason. The moving and the management of this card specifically, which we will be getting to. Oh man, and then I say this once and I'll say it again. I really do want everyone to have a good time with these pay-per-views. I wholeheartedly do. But when do we acknowledge that the pay-per-views, they're just watered down okay pay-per-views? This is a very watered down okay. This is okay, like a solid 6 out of 10 for me. Good 6 out of 10. That's higher than I've given the Fed in a very, very long time. That doesn't mean that it's extremely good. That doesn't mean that it saved Triple H's job. People went over on Brock, all right, in a it was practically a squash match. He no-sold the F5, hit a choke slam, hit his finisher, uno, dos, tres, right? That was great. Moment-defining moment. But we have to remember, Obafemi was stiff-armed out of the world title scene how many months ago? Is he just not going to be put back into it? Right? I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. It's possible, right? But that is something that I believe should have happened at Mania. We don't need Brock the human trafficker. We don't need him. He's not vital to the story of Oba. He is not important to the legacy that Oba needs to build. Brock Lesnar, if what we believe is going to be happening with some of these court cases in the next couple of years, is probably going to be scrubbed from every single ounce of WWE media moving forward, or WWE is going to be sold to a country who just won't even give a fuck about that. Either of those scenarios, 100% possible, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. 100% possible, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. 100% possible. And I don't know. I like to believe that maybe that they think that everything is going to be on the up and up for Brock Lesnar. But if what goes through with some of these court cases, yeah, like nobody's going to want to associate with the Lesnar name, especially in association to him. So I don't know. I really don't know what this Oba shit is for. I'm glad I don't have to look at Brock Lesnar ever again. So that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. And Obafemi Obafemi WrestleMania win, positive. This is a big positive, of course. But again, I gotta be honest, man. I feel like something about this was so simple, it was impossible to mess up. And in the elementary aspect of it, I don't feel like I should be rewarding it. But again, it's such a simple execution. I feel like I kind of have to, right? Because, oh man, to think about them fucking this up, man. Oh, the idea of them fucking this up, bro. Okay, Oba might be the world champion by June. He needs to be the world champion by June. But that's just me kind of talking. That's just me talking. Either Oba or Braun. Maybe. Braun could be the world champion because, man, I don't know. We're going to be getting to this later, but we got to do something with these new guys. These new guys cannot just sit on standby like we're probably going to do with Royce, like we did with Melo after he won the Andrade Royal Rumble. Like, it gets... like we did with Melo after he won the Andre Battle Royale, right? Like it gets to a point you just have to acknowledge when you fuck up, right? And not properly pushing Oba directly to the moon when he had that match with Cody Rhodes, that was the fuck up. That was the fuck up right there. But that was my humble opinion. We are going to be talking about the next match on the card, which is the 6-man ladder match, with Javon, Penta, Rey Mysterio, Miro, JD McDonough, and I don't know, like the gobbledygooker and the Invisible Man. I completely fucking forget. It should be Kofi Kingston and Javon Evans. Simple, calm story, right? Or hey, maybe even Damin, all right, giving Finn Balor, a resounding standing ovation for his performance, giving him a really nice secondary belt that he could probably go into, a lot of feuds, JD McDonough, like eventually dropping it to, somebody like Javon Evans. There's a lot of things that we can get from Finn Balor IC run, but we don't get it. No, we don't get it. We get Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Javon Evans in some really nice spots. And then Javon Evans gets told to sit down and wait a second, kid, because we don't need all the black people going over on one card. That's what that was. And Javon Evans, as we all know, should be the IC champion as of right now. But you guys remember when I said that Oba should win over on Cody many moons ago? You guys remember why I said they didn't do it? Yeah, there you go. That's why. Listen, I don't know why they don't pull the trigger on things like this. Obviously, it's because they are worried that, there is going to be some kind of pushback, but there shouldn't be any pushback from new stars, just simply flourishing as they should. And Javon is ready for that next step. So is Oba. Trick Williams, as we are going to see very later, was obviously ready for that next step. And again, the match itself was okay, but just the process of booking for this IC title, it's enough to genuinely make you feel like you just experienced like D-Day firsthand. Like genuinely, like you just stormed Normandy. And I don't know. I'm not somebody who wants to be confused watching a wrestling match. The way they treated Finn Balor in the return of his demon has just been fucking horrendous. I'm not a fan. I think they released something on Twitter, and that's how everyone was supposed to find out. Finn Balor is maybe one of the staples of this identity that WWE has crafted with the whole, we're not the Indies, but we're like the Indies, but we're just like Japan, but we're like American Japan, like that entire feeling, right, that WWE tried to get going from like 2010 to 2013, maybe even very smooth through 2017 and abruptly stopping at 2018. Obviously they found a way to try to find the small medium of like, oh no, we're cool, we're indie, we're niche, we can be hip. And Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn were like a really big part of all of that, right? Finn Balor has not been giving the respect that he's deserved, and his character being buried on Elon Musk's fucking horrible backwater fucking website instead of giving him a pop in that arena. Like, what do these niggas feel about Finn Balor for real? Honestly, we can just move on to the Sami Zayn match because it's a coup de grace through the table. Is it a no DQ match? I guess so. Who fucking cares? Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. It's a very good match. It's a very good match. Sami Zayn is an amazing wrestler. Trick Williams is a future world champion. I don't know why this isn't Melo. Why isn't this Melo and Trick Williams? Just explain it to me like I'm 5. I don't know why somebody as beloved as Melo can't just get a little bit of recognition that close to WrestleMania week. He was that close to WrestleMania week, and this is how we treat him. And maybe I'll sound like a broken record here. Sammy didn't need this U.S. title win. He was a U.S. title 7 months prior. Where's Ela? Where's Io? Kylie Sane? good. I mean, what's going on here? Like, let's really call a spade a spade. They made this move for one reason and one reason only. They didn't want them black bodies on that card. And for this exact reason, it wasn't a hot, highly anticipated, generation-defining match. It was a Sami Zayn burial. And I think Little Yachty was out there. Fucking embarrassing, bro. I'm just, oh my God. And I want people again to have fun with these matches, man. But just Trick not having the moment that he should be having at the top with his brother. I'm not going to just look away from that. Sammy even being here when he doesn't need to be, when he's being unnecessarily booed. Like, he has acknowledged, I haven't done anything for you guys to boo me. Like, this is all Creative's fault, but we don't boo Creative. Oh man, I don't know. Like, it's killing my love for the game. Genuinely, it's killing my love for the game. Watching El Generico, you're treated like fucking the honky tonk man. But I mean, I don't want to be too somber or too, down about anything, right? This is a U.S. championship match, secondary title. Woohoo. Trick, first official champion, again, future world champion. So, many more on the way. Big ups to Trick. Big ups to Trick. Big ups to Trick, of course. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a bittersweet moment. I guess I'll just say that. Let's talk about the, very, very good, very fucking good Rhea and Jade Cargill match. Aside from the run-in bullshit from B-Fab and Meechin, I really like this match, and there was very obvious telltale signs that Jade was not going to be going over in just a simple storytelling from SmackDown here on forward. From SmackDown, it's kind of just furthering, some of the weeks of antagonization that we got on behalf of Jade, the Jade conglomeration, right? Them jumping EO, everything that led into it, right? There was this very obvious signs like, okay, Jade will be dropping this title, but man, they have such great chemistry, and I know they wouldn't put the title right back on Jade. I know they wouldn't, but the things that we could have gotten from a properly produced, level-headed feud with these two, you know what I mean? Like, if personalities and if egos didn't get so fucking massive, clearly from one side more than the other, but we're not gonna poke that bear right now. The things that we could have gotten and what we got from this match, it was great, but then you think to the build of it, and the build was dog shit. The build was horrible. It was these two going out every week just berating each other with maybe some of the most high school, schoolyard insults you could ever find. You think you're tough? No, you're not tough. You're built for show, and I'm built for war. What? Like, you're not war? You don't think the world champion is actively going through war with title defenses and getting the title? Like, a simple production and simple just script writing for this script writing for this feud have just been horrible. It's been horrible. Like, the last segment on SmackDown, doo-doo. Like, oh, I'm gonna show you you're nothing but a sniveling, conniving bitch. What does this have to do with anything? Because she jumped EO? And oh my God, EO is such like a massive part of the story. EO doesn't get a match, but Danhausen gets a segment. Julia doesn't get a match, but Danhausen gets a segment. Rey Fenix doesn't get a match, but Danhausen gets a segment. Jelly Roll gets a bump, but for some reason, the El Grandes don't take any bumps. Ludwig doesn't take a single bump tonight. But Jelly Roll take bumps last night? And Little Yachty gets minutes. But not Asuka. Got it. And I should be celebrating tonight. Why? Like, I'm not being pessimistic. I really am like trying to unlock here. What am I supposed to be positive about here? Ela doesn't get minutes. But Danhausen does. And that should make me smile because of the sport. Oh, no. The Miz comes out here with a bunch of little people, but we don't get a proper build for our US title or our our Intercontinental title, right? And I'm just supposed to sit here and just go, yeah, who cares? Yeah, I love the sport. I love the sport so much. Aside from the sport being actively shat on, with it being overshadowed by it being purely entertainment instead of okay, all right, whatever. Let's talk about the main event. And I think this is going to encapsulate everything I really feel about tonight. Punk versus Roman was maybe one of the better main events in a WrestleMania in a very, very long time. I think the effort put on by Punk in his older age, with all of his title reigns and all of his title defenses since he has returned to the sport of wrestling, AEW included, despite the drama in the despite the drama in the in the debacle, I really did like everything Punk delivered in AEW, and him coming back to the Federation. I haven't loved all the booking. I haven't. I'll be honest. I do think that they should have pulled the trigger on at least heel tween turning Punk against a rowdy defending champion in Cody Rhodes before he went off to Hollywood, right? And I do think that there are certain moments of even the Shield, right, when Punk way back when, that there are moments that they could have pulled that would have made interaction now with Seth Rollins, with Roman Reigns. It would have made it so much more interesting, right? But that's all looking with hindsight. Looking at what we have now with CM Punk, it is maybe some of the best old and honestly just effortless wrestling we're probably going to see in a while. He's moving like he is going purely off of muscle memory. Injuries be damned. And it's interesting because there are people like Blue Panther and Ultimate Dragon who are still wrestling, but it's funny. I feel like the way that they operate is safer than how Punk operates. It's almost as if Punk knows, I have to show everybody that I'm still there. Like, he literally comes out to his ROH theme, and I think that perfectly paints the picture of what I'm trying to describe, right? It is a man trying to fight Father Time, and he does a really good job at just telling this story of somebody who is not that far off from Roman in age, but somebody who is clearly the more seasoned veteran in the ring, trying to find his wit, trying to find his ground, and it's really good. It's really good. Roman, for lack of a better word, he's not hated, but he does kind of play like the black hat cowboy for a lot of this main event, and it works. Roman is a really competent performer, and I make jokes about him being the unemployed one, and no jokes are jokes if we're not going to get serious, but when he does show up to work, it is very good work. It is very good work, and it's knowing what we could have gotten if Roman just took this shit a little bit more seriously. If he wasn't bring it via satellite, if he wasn't let me do a Twitter video in response to my entire fucking WrestleMania feud. And now, again, I have to be the guy who looks at somebody who enters the Royal Rumble via a fucking tweet from his couch. Brother was sitting in the fucking comfiest lounge at a Golden Corral, posting that he's in the Royal Rumble, and now he's the world champion. I'm supposed to sit here and start clapping with my feet. And the atmosphere was good. The crowd was good. There was really creative and inventive spots. And this match was everything that I think you wanted from a main event. And then you think about how the fuck we got here. And it was Punk speaking in front of an empty ring for 3 weeks straight, while Roman was just on tour, doing medias, doing interviews. And now I have to think about this title not even coming back. And, all credit to Roman. He did say he will be a defending champion. He did say he will be a present champion. No more part-timer. Those are words out of his mouth, right? So I'll hold him into his word. And if he's true about that, if we get minimum 3 defenses, I don't want a feud. I don't want a story. If we get minimum 3 defenses from him, unless it's a massive like Oba or Braun or like, I don't know, like Javon Evans payoff or some shit like that. Whatever trigger they pull with him, that may be like a one shot. If that's not the case, I don't know, man. I need something good, because Punk set the bar. He has the age. All right, he has the outside responsibilities of a Z-Bros, of a cop show here, of an ER show here, and then he's on every tape in Raw. Like, he did set the standard. So whatever Roman does, if he, and listen, I hate to compare apples to apples, and like in this kind of like it feels like such a fake way to discuss something. Like, oh, if he can't wrestle as good as he's wrestling, like they're both very good wrestlers, but if Roman cannot compete to the exact same speed of Punk, we're gonna have some very unfortunate conversations. If Punk gets outlapped by Roman in just work capacity, then fairs to Roman. If Roman defends the title twice as much as Punk, big fairs. Hey, massive fairs, and I would love that, but that's me anticipating 6 upcoming Roman Reigns matches before when? SummerSlam? I have to expect 6 Roman Reigns matches if I want to get a little greedy with a story before SummerSlam. I don't want to count on my eggs before they hatch. You know, I don't want to count on my eggs before they hatch. So again, I'm going to be giving this So again, I'm going to be giving this WrestleMania for April 19, 2026 a solid 6 out of 10. But there's so much there that they didn't go for. It wasn't taken, and they sabotaged themselves. They sabotaged themselves to no end meet. And it's one of those things that they're just going to keep doing until the end of time, which is why when Tony Khan says, hey, AEW is where the best wrestle after they make a fuck up, it's funny. And their internet laughs because they're known for their countless fuck ups. And unfortunately, the road to WrestleMania with really good matches on it was one of them. It is what it is. It is what it is. This was your boy Cappy, and that was everything that he had for April 18th, 2026. WrestleMania. There's a lot of other stuff going up for the rest of the week. One Piece. There is going to be a Raw video, SmackDown, Collision. The sky is the limit, if you would. All right, I'll try to post maybe a music video that I did on here if you guys are interested in that. A lot of interesting shit. So as I always say, all right, I hope you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.